So what's your view, Radhika, in terms of what are the key takeaways of the budget, and how do you think will some of the policy measures will impact India?
Some of the things that came out of the budget to mean what the market commentary was about. One of the commentaries that came out was that this is a U-turn, in terms of emphasis of the budget. That all this while we were all about capex, 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 and now we are not thinking of capex anymore, and we are turning consumption, 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 right? How true is that? So I thought I'll touch upon that bit and some couple of other takeaways from the budget in general. So what have we seen in the past few years? I would say take a timeline about 6-7 years. The amount of resources and money that has been kept aside by the government for capital investments has consistently been on the rise, right? Especially in the past 4-5 years. You can see it in nominal, meaning you can see it in lakh crores, so you can see it as a percentage of GDP, whichever way you cut it, it's been going up and up and up. So that's right. And apart from just putting capex money, you've also been putting a lot of effort into plumbing. If there's any, in terms of application process, in terms of regulatory reforms, all of that has been paid a lot of attention to as well. But I think now where the place we are at right now, I think there is a realization that yes, we have sorted the plumbing, yes, we have put in enough money into capex, but we also need to look at the demand side of the equation, right? And hence we have had some relief on the tax front, which I think Mr. Modi will touch on. So my part is to say that I don't think we have seen a U-turn or a turn away from capex. I think it's very clear that there is no point increasing the amount of money that is being put and be unable to spend all of it, right? And I think I try always compare this with divestment, because I'm sure in your whatever you have read or in your conversations, we always talk about divestment ka target lagaya, lekin we couldn't meet it. So instead of setting higher and higher targets and being unable to spend, I think what the government has done is to kind of give it a slight increase, but not completely, be very ambitious in terms of setting higher, and especially say 12 lakh crores or 13 lakh crores. When we have, as a company, as a household, suddenly when you see a burst of money come in, you do have capacity constraints, right? You have to first figure out where do we need to spend it, and all of this doesn't happen. I mean, a road doesn't get done very fast. Highway doesn't get done very fast. There's a lot of capacity constraint. There is also some machinery in the approval process and so on and so forth. So it takes time. So my personal take would be that it was a good thing that they haven't increased the money going towards capex much more. I think they're still have it going higher, but not by too much. So the central point being that, that I don't think it's a big move away from capex and into consumption. I think they're trying to do more of a balancing act, give a bit of a realism to this entire, breakdown. I also wanted to add one more thing, and this I think is an important perspective. Again, because there's so much conversation on capex, right? If you see, for every 100 rupees that is spent towards expenditure by the government, only about 25 to 30 rupees is capex, right? So a big bunch is still going into other segments like you're paying interest payments for the past, debt. We are giving salaries, we're giving pensions, we're giving subsidies. All this is still in that 75%. So this increase in capex, again, my attempt is to just give you a bit of perspective, because we hear so much about a one-sided conversation. Is to remember to see that it's actually going up, but it's going up slowly. So all the other parts of the spending is still dominant, not so much capex, but it's been rising. So hence this thing about quality of expenditure going up. We are putting more and more money into infra, we are putting more and more money as a proportion, but still what Richa referred to as revenue expenditure, which is all this sticky expenditure that we do every year, that is still the dominant player.